All right. Let me... Oh, wait. I need to do something really quick. There we go. Right. Alright. So I'll get the game going, like, while I get everything else set up. Let me just check that my headset's going correctly. Should be fine. Okay. Now I just need to turn on my laptop here. It, I'm guessing ran out of battery because I need to turn it back on. Yeah, let me do this really quick and we should be good to go again today. Right. Give me 1 second while this loads, and then we'll be good to start the game stuff. The game stuff. Let me check these missions really quick. My mic's a little bit close to my mouth, it seems. Right. So we do have what looks like one... Oh. Maybe not. Okay, it looks like that's actually after this mission, because I do kind of remember this mission as its own thing. So it's martial law. Let's check for bonus objectives. Nope. Alright. Yeah, no bonus missions, so we should be good today. Right. So, last time we left off after I explained the geography of the Warhammer world, Warhammer Fantasy world. So, today I'll talk about briefly the history of the Warhammer world. So, as I mentioned a little bit last time, the world was kind of created by a race known as the Old Ones. The Old Ones were these race of what I think is commonly understood as these kind of lizard people who maybe not created the world, but definitely seeded it with life, like humans, elves, and especially the lizardmen. We'll get this cutscene and I'll get back into it.
Hello there, friend. You remember my brother and me from downstairs? With Harkin, right?
Sorry it had to be this way.
We don't like it any more than you do. Well, maybe a little more.
Give me a second while I check dialogue options. But I think we should be good. Yeah, there's nothing here, so...
Now, you really don't know whether I like this or not.
I'm sorry, man. I liked you. I really did.
But Harkin made us a deal, see? We kill you, we go home.
If you're going to kill me, then do it.
I'm sorry. I really am.
Quiet, Balak. The time for talk is past. Fight for your life, Acolyte.
Alright. And, they're both gonna die now. They are very easy to kill. So as I was talking before, the Old Ones at least seeded the world with a lot of its life. There are some species like dragons and I think carnosaurs as well, where those species did already exist in the world, but there's quite a few that were brought into it. Orcs being also one of them, but like I said earlier, humans and elves being some of the other big ones. And the old ones came to the Warhammer world using these portals that were on the north and the south pole of the Warhammer world. And like they ended up like seeding it with life, especially the lizardmen, where they're big ones because they worked with the old ones quite deeply, and the two understood each other well. Give me 1 second. My leg itched there. I just needed to scratch that. So they worked well with the lizardmen, and there's also like some, I believe they worked a lot with the elves as well. Let's just talk to Harkin really quick.
Well, well. Look who shows up at long last. I half expected to hear you'd crossed some Dark Lord upstairs and finally got yourself killed. None of the others have shown up either. I assume they're dead by now, which means you and Fon are the last ones.
Speaking of Fawn, he seems conspicuously absent.
You only wish it, slave. No. You took so long returning, I sent Fon ahead. Your final trial will be to retrieve an ancient map from the innermost chamber of Naga Sado's tomb, which has never been breached in thousands of years. But before you get the map, you'll have to awaken an ancient assassin called a Dashard that sleeps in the tomb. You cannot access the map without him. Understand?
What exactly is a Dishard?
They're a lost race of assassins that the ancient Sith used to devour their Force-using enemies. This one will probably eat you the moment he's freed. Oh, and one more thing. You'll be competing with Fon for this map. Whoever brings it back will be Lord Zash's apprentice. The other will die. And Fon's already started, so my advice? Run, slave. Run.
One moment, please.
Lord Zash, what are you doing here?
Overseer, are you implying that I, a Lord of the Sith, don't have the right to go where I please within the Academy of the Sith?
No, of course not, Lord Zash.
Good. I saw the last acolyte arrive. I wanted to see the hopefuls off on their final trial. Where's, the red one, Fon?
He finished his trial early, so I sent him on rather than keeping him waiting for this.
Pity. I just finished translating the wonderful text this acolyte brought from Tulak Horde's tomb, and it's most illuminating. I don't know that the map can be retrieved without it.
Well, well, well.
I forgot about this.
It's a good thing I didn't start running, isn't it, Harkin?
It's too late. Fon's already left. You can't just...
Give one acolyte an unfair advantage over the other? Overseer, when has being Sith ever been about being fair? Now, my dear acolyte, here is what you must do to free the Dashard. There are rods scattered throughout the tomb of Naga Sado. These rods are the keys to the chamber where the ancient assassin is imprisoned. You will need to place the rods in the chamber door and electrify them. I don't know exactly the reason, but it is clear that you will not be able to retrieve the map without the Dashard. But be careful, he is very dangerous.
I have yet to meet a danger I cannot defeat.
I will return when both acolytes are back from the tomb. You will not do anything further to affect the outcome of the trial. Understood?
Yes, Lord Zash.
Good. And good luck, acolyte.
Yeah. This is kind of why I like this game. It's stuff like that as well, where like, you're pretty much getting fucked over by your overseer the entire time, and then immediately it's like, oh yeah, hi, you're the acolyte I like. By the way, here's the way that you went. I forgot that I accidentally got rid of one of my abilities. Let me fix that. Just let me check what this one is. Unbreakable Will. Okay. Now, which one don't I already have on here? Electrocute. Yes, that's it. Is it? Oh. Oh, it's an actual attack. Close. I will deal with these later. I don't like having to choose on them. Let's see. do that. That one doesn't seem too useful. Yeah, these are all like these extra spells. They're not like attack spells, which I usually use, or stealth. That one, I should maybe use discharge more. This one is good if you're on a ledge area, because then you can just insta-kill whatever you're fighting. So that's fun. It's pretty much the only reason I have that one. Alright, let me lock the thing in place and be good. So yeah, we have... Let me just make sure that I'm not missing any quests back here. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about the old ones, right? So they see the world, create the lizardmen, all that stuff. And like I said yesterday, they left the lizardmen with a bunch of prophecies about like what they wanted to do with the world. However, they weren't omniscient or anything like that, because they probably didn't know that the world was going to be destroyed by... Actually, you know what? It's not entirely certain if they knew this was going to happen or not, but the Warhammer world was kind of destroyed in a way. The gates at the North and South Poles that the old ones had been using to get to that world for centuries at this point, I believe it was centuries anyway, collapsed. And when it did, it allowed the powers of chaos to basically interact with the Warhammer world. And those are like the 4 major chaos gods, which I'll talk about probably today, actually. They had allowed their energies to seep into the world and start to corrupt it. We'll do this quest and I'll
may
keep
I
talking.
speak to you for a moment?
Give me 1 second while I figure out who this is. Right. Is this mission? No. Is it perhaps grave robbing? Yes. Alright. Let me check their conversation options. It would appear that they don't matter.
For a beauty like yourself, of course.
Oh, yes. Thank you. You're too kind, really. There was another acolyte, not long ago, who entered this tomb and did not come back. He died in there.
Give me 1 second, I want to check something. Make sure that this one still oh. Give me a second really quick. I just need to check that this has the tags on it that it needs. Give me 1 good minute here. Because if this doesn't have the right tags, it could be a bit of a problem for people finding it, which I found, well, has been plaguing my streams as of late, is them not having their tags. And I don't want that, because I would actually like people to show up so I can interact with them for my streams. Give me a second. I accidentally closed what I was using to watch my own stream. Or I guess monitor it. Let me fix that. Yup, the tags are gone. Give me 1 second while I fix this. I mean, at this point, give me a second. At this point, why do I even schedule them ahead if it's just going to remove my tags every time? Let me think. What other tag was there? Oh, right. Oh. I think... Oh, right. Let me check one other thing. Right, I think that's good now. Now that the tags are actually on it, as they should have been earlier, it should be fine now. Alright. Good. Okay. Yep, everything looks like it should be. Let's get back into it.
And you were worried to see a handsome man like me die too?
No, I mean, not that... But that's not what I meant. I mean, it's just that the acolyte who went in there, he was a good sort. Friendly and talkative. He said he was entering the tomb to prove himself to his father. I just thought it would be nice if somebody took his body back and told his father he didn't make it.
Yes. The father should be told that his son has fallen.
I'd never survive in there. And even if I did, I wouldn't be allowed to see his father. He is a Dark Honor Guard stationed in the Academy. None but Sith can ever set foot on the sacred ground where he stands watch. But you could find the body and bring it to his father. Please do this and honor the fallen.
If I see the acolyte's body, I will try to retrieve it.
Thank you so much. If you find the acolyte's remains inside the tomb, let me know. I can tell you where to find his father in the Academy. Good luck.
Alright. Give me 1 second while I create this a tab of its own. Because this is one I know has stuff I'm going to want to monitor. There we go. Alright. Let me just check some of the other stuff in this set of missions. So from the past is its own thing? Okay. I feel like that one's not, and it's actually a bonus mission. But all well. Crush your rivals. Oh, right. I should check if this one has any bonus missions of its own. Let's check this really quick. So, we are on a map for the future. Sorry, I just need to set all this stuff up here really quick. I find the Sith, like, Empire stuff, like all its bonus missions, or not its bonus missions, all its missions to be kind of, weird with how they are. Alright. Kill rival acolytes, destroy ancient droids, and slay, that thing. Okay. Alright. So let me see. What was that other mission that I had earlier? Threat from the past. Okay, that... Okay, let me check what other stuff we have here really quick. Eliminate the competition. I'm sure that one is a bonus mission, but let me check. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Naga Shadow's Honor Guard. Or Sadao. That one is also a bonus mission. Next is Naga Sadao's Wardens. And that has... Let's see. Well, it's a bonus mission for this one, actually. Oh. Right. Let me just check. The Vinyl Obstacle, if I see that one. Okay, Naga Sadao, or Sadao's Servants is another one here. But it is also a bonus mission. Okay. So it looks like we have maybe one major mission. If not, they're all bonus missions. Oh, I should have checked if Koraban had its own bonus mission or not. It doesn't. Okay. And a threat from the past also does not. So, Creeping Hunger. Let me check this one. 'Cause this is also a mission that has, or it's supposed to be its own thing. It does not have bonus missions. Okay. I'm sure we'll find Creeping Hunger if we go in here. Let me just check that. Check my preferences really quick. And we'll get back into our conversation about Warhammer Fantasy. Right. So, oh fuck, I completely forgot where I was at. Something about the old ones. Oh, right. So they had these whole portals, these warp portal, actually webway portals they're called, that allowed them to travel to the poles of the Warhammer world in order to get there. These collapsed, however. This collapse, let me read the bonus mission, sorry. The tomb of Nagasadao is full of rival acolytes, all hunting for the same ancient map. Erase the competition. Oh, right. That mission. Let me do this.
I'm an acolyte now, but I'll be Sith soon.
Oh, wait, I should check. I should check if, I have a mission here. Give me a second. Like, what options I have to talk to this guy. Let's see. Is there any light or dark side path for this? It would appear not. Okay.
I, too, am despised in the Academy. What do you mean, stronger? If Prythor's the one who exiled you to these caves, I doubt he'll change his mind about feeding you.
Okay.
If Prythor is really behind all this, he may be worth investigating.
Right. Okay, well, looks like we're leaving. Let me at least kill some acolytes first. But yeah, so the warp, the webway gates collapsed, and then the powers of the Chaos Gods were able to go into the world and start corrupting it. This allowed a couple of other races to come into existence, notably the Beastmen. Though there is the Skaven, this race of rat men, are debated. It's debated as to whether this is their creation or a completely other thing, which is noted in the poem of 13 stanzas, something like that. I forget exactly what the poem is called, but that poem depicts a different origin for the Skaven, though it's unknown as to which is actually the truth. If a lot of the meteors that were these meteors that ended up landing on the world of the Warhammer Fantasy world, if that was what created the Beastmen, or well, that is what created the Beastmen, if that's what created the Skaven, or if it was this other event depicted in the poem of 13 stanzas. Let me talk to this girl real quick.
You found him. That poor acolyte.
He got torn up pretty badly in there.
He was so brave and ready to prove himself to his father. His father was Naaman Fall. As I said before, he's one of the Dark Honor Guards in the Academy. If you take the Acolyte's remains to his father, I'm sure he'll be grateful.
I suppose it's always good to make powerful friends.
You can find the Acolyte's father outside the chamber of the Dark Council. That's where he stands guard.
So, that's how the Beastmen and the, maybe the Skaven came to be. At the same time, this corruption started affecting other races as well. Notably, I believe the Dwarves were the other big one, where a bunch of them that were stuck, or rather an expedition to the east, was stuck where it wasn't able to hide in the mountains where the rest of the Dwarven race usually lived, and those mountains helped keep the Dwarves from a lot of the corrupting influence that Chaos would cause, and instead those Dwarves would end up becoming the Chaos Dwarves and worshipping their dark god, god who is this bull, if I remember correctly, and would cause some of their descendants to be born half dwarf and half bull, where their lower legs would be the legs of a bull, or I think maybe a goat. I can't remember. I think it is just a bull though, which is definitely interesting. And demons of the 4 Chaos Gods would basically go like a tide over the world and start conquering it for their dark, twisted gods. Let's go and talk to this guy.
I'm training slaves to feed the beasts, and I don't have time to chat.
Have you heard of a creature called Serun?
Serun? You know of Serun? That creature was close to me when I was an acolyte. It helped me survive my trials. It traveled places I couldn't, told me everything it heard and saw. It had been living off vermin before I came along. I figured out a way to make it healthier, stronger. Serun's special meals.
What is Serun exactly? I've never seen anything like it.
Its people come from the planet Bis, but it's lived on Koraban as long as anyone can remember. Serun never knew exactly what I fed it. Its meals weren't just beast fodder. Serun ate the corpses of the Academy's failures, the bones and blood of dead acolytes. Feeding on their energy after death, it grew exponentially more powerful with every meal, and became strong in the dark side.
No good can come of this.
Pity I didn't have your insight at the time. When I saw how twisted Serun was becoming, I sent it away. It was becoming hungrier all the time, and I feared it would attack the living. Destroying it seemed impossible. It could heal any injury it suffered. I hoped it would find a new home somewhere, but it seems we must act more decisively.
What's your plan?
Aid Serun and it will turn on us. One more taste of power and it will begin hunting acolytes. I can't allow that. Together, we must poison Serun. Before I sent Serun away, I developed a powerful toxin, but I didn't have the heart to use it. It won't kill the creature, but it should strip it of its power.
So let's say we poison it. What happens to Serun then?
My best guess? If we do this, Serun won't survive much longer. It will hide as best it can and slowly starve. But the alternative is to let it become a living horror.
Well, all things considered.
Then let's poison that thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you see it as I do. I'm giving you this meat.
Also, it's a
Don't ask me where it came from, but it should fool Serun. Once the poison is in its system, it will weaken. I take no satisfaction in this, but it is necessary.
So yeah, we gotta poison Serun. Otherwise he'll start killing acolytes, which is fucked up. I mean, like, either option's pretty fucked up, because one of them, like this one, even though we're killing it, like, we're poisoning it to death, it won't, which actually is a bit interesting, because now it won't be able to kill acolytes of the Sith, which then keeps the Sith Empire stronger. At the same time, if we let it live, it's really fucked up, because it'll just start eating people, and yeah, that's pretty messed up on its own. Still, it's its own thing. Let's get back into Warhammer lore, though. So where was I at? Oh, right. So the demons of chaos start conquering the world of Warhammer. Oh, fuck. This is awkward. Okay, I'm gonna explain and hope. Okay, perfect. It fixes itself. So, the demons of chaos start conquering the world and like bringing it in to become to the vision of their masters. The elves, who are one of the strongest races in magic, other than debatably the lizard men, start trying to come up with a plan how to defeat these demons and their dark masters. And they figured out they could create a vortex of magic that would draw in all the magic in the world into this single vortex and then immediately dissipate it so that it couldn't affect the world anymore and keep the demons stable. Doing this, well, it took them a while to do this, and this goes into a lot of elf lore as well. But they were able to do it. They were able to dissipate all of the magic, all the magic coming into the world, into this one portal, and just get rid of it, which made it so that the demons were extremely weakened. If not, like, minor demons were banished because they didn't have enough strength to stay in the world. Actually, it might have been the major ones, I can't remember, because I think they're the ones that actually need more magic to stay in. But yeah, like, they didn't have enough magical energy to stay in the Warhammer world, to stay tied to it, and many of them were banished from the creation of this vortex. In fact, almost all of them were. The rest of them were killed off by the leaders of the elves, and especially their king, their first Phoenix King, who used the sword of their warrior god Cain to slay the last of the demons and banish them from the Warhammer world. At this point, also, the vortex was strong enough that it kept the demons from being able to properly stay in the world. It kept them from being able to get a foothold.
You stand before the chamber of the Dark
there wasn't enough
Council,
magic to keep them
and
there.
this floor is off limits to all who are not lords of the Sith. If you are not on official business, you will leave now.
Or let me fix what I said, because what I said isn't entirely true. It dissipated a lot of the chaos magic. There was still a good amount of normal magic in the world. It's just the chaos magic was more efficiently being destroyed at this point. Let's go back into this. Actually, now that I think about it, I wonder how closely this relates to the whole Nekahara stuff, because, like, they're both very ancient stuff in the Warhammer world, but they're generally not talked about together, so I don't know. Then again, elves have a very long lifespan, so I guess Nekahara could have been happening at the same time. I don't know. All that kind of stuff is a little bit weird, and it feels like they didn't really think of both those stories together, which I guess they didn't, since they were both created at completely different times in the lore. The Nekahara one being much more recent compared to the Elven one about the Vortex. So, makes sense that those don't exactly match up, and there's actually like some kind of discrepancies between them, but they still work, I think, together. It's just I never really noticed that they are so almost out of place with each other, but now that I think about it, yeah, they kind of... It's interesting. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let's see. I must tell you something. Nice gig you've got, or what? I must tell you something.
I've come with news about your son.
So that is the smell you carry. It is said he went into the tomb of Naga Sadao to prove himself, and was killed. He was such a weak boy. He shames me in death as he shamed me in life. When I heard of his death, I could not leave my post. Honor forbade it. Still, I would like to know what happened in there.
Give me 1 second. Alright.
Of course. Ask away, my lord.
Your deference does you credit. Now tell me, where did you find his body? Did my pathetic son even make it past the first steps? In the end, was he Sith?
Yes.
He died valiantly, deep in the tombs. He was nearly Sith.
He died well. I suppose my son had more of me in his heart than I had ever considered possible. With this news, you have brought me a peace I didn't think possible. Thank you. I will have him buried in honor. Take this small token of my appreciation and go.
Nice. That's... Oh god, I need to sell my shit. Okay, let me just keep this open so that I remember to sell it. What is this even? Why do I have this? I'm not going to use it, but it's just weird. Anyway, where was I at? Something about the chaos. Oh, yeah. So the vortex was created. It dissipates the magic from the Warhammer world and keeps the chaos powers from being able to stay in place. Now, here's the thing. The leader of the elves, the sword he has is of their war god, Calum Chicane, who is this bloody, vengeful and aggressive god that demands violence and death, and just all around war. So having his sword starts to make you want that as well, to want to conquer and destroy and bring violence, which led the King of the Elves to start to go a little bit crazy.
Won't find a better bargain.
And if I remember correctly, he either died at the end of the war with the demons or sometime after. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, Okay, I think this is...
Come back anytime.
Yeah, I think that one's fine. So, was I saying... goes to war about something. Oh, right. So, yeah, oh, fuck. I completely lost my train of thought. Where was I on that? Oh, right. So he dies sometime before or after, and then it comes down to the inheritance, because with the Elven Kingdom, their inheritance isn't a direct line of inheritance. It is more like a vote. They get voted into power by the nobility, and then they have to prove themselves to their gods, or at least one of their gods, Anarion, if I remember correctly, and step into the, I believe the Fire of Anarion is called. And if they're able to survive this flame, then they have proven themselves worthy of being the king of the elves as a whole. So, the son of this first king, of the first Phoenix King, he thinks that he's worthy of it, but he does not get voted into power because of all the shit that his father was doing, like all the bad shit his father was doing, and instead is not allowed to do that. But the new king does give him a high position, where he is to hunt down the traitors in the Elven Empire, because there's still a couple of them that worship the that worship the dark gods of chaos, specifically the god of pleasure and excess, Slanesh. So they try and find these cults of pleasure and put them down, and the guy Malekith, the son of the old king, starts going about and finding these cults and shutting them down. But as he becomes more powerful and more famous for doing so and actually bringing order, he starts to also arrest his political opponents as well, and kind of create this reign of terror, which I believe ends with him accusing the king of being the leader of these cults. It's also worth mentioning he arrested his mother for being part of these cults, so people definitely believed that he was actually shutting down these cults, because why would you arrest your mother otherwise? And, well, he arrested her because she actually was part of the cults as well. He wasn't, but she was. So that's a funny thing. But yeah, so he arrests her, and, he arrests her, and then he tries to arrest the king. But a lot of his people are still loyal, and they see past like the deception and like try to get him arrested, and it sparks out this civil war between the elves, where this guy Malekith, the son of the original king, he goes on to lead what are the Dark Elves, and the other king, who I can't remember his name, goes on to lead the High Elves. We'll get back to that After I talk to this guy, though.
I'm sure you'll find it satisfactory. Don't say thank you or anything. Leave this evil place, Sarun. Leave the academy, and leave Koraban if you can. It's no place for you.
There we go. So let me see how much light side I have. A lot. A lot, to say the least. So, with that done, let me check what other minor quests I have for this one. I have to destroy some ancient droids and a boss later on. Let me just make myself go invisible so I don't have to fight these guys. And I can just talk about lore. So yeah, Malekith starts this civil war with the rest of the elves over the inheritance. Fuck, I have to fight him. Over the inheritance of the kingdom. And he tries to get himself knighted by the gods. Except this does not go to plan. In fact, because what you're supposed to do is pass through this fire of Anarion, and in order to be proven worthy, you have to go through and not get burnt. He got burnt. In fact, like, he really got fucked up really bad. So much so that he had to put on this entire set of armor in order to, well, basically, it was a set of armor over his body and over, like, all the burns that he had on him. And, okay, those aren't ancient droids. Just basically cover all of his burns so that he doesn't fucking die. Well, it still causes him pain as well, but because he has it all covered up, it's not as much pain as it would be otherwise. Despite this, he continues on with his war with the rest of the elves and tries to take over all of Ulthuan, the elven continent, for himself, as well as all of his loyal followers, who are most of the northern territories of the elves. This fails, and he is driven off of Ulthuan. In fact, his people end up separating their land from the rest of Ulthuan and turning it into these massive ships known as Black Arks, and sailing to the west to the land of Nagarond, this desolate land that, well, I talked about it earlier. It's a very desolate, inhospitable, and infertile land of, well, that's close to where they live. Okay, can I still get this? Fuck, I have to wait here. Yeah, so they travel to Nagarond. How many droids were I supposed to kill? Okay, I feel like... Let's try and kill some ancient droids. But yeah, so he travels to Nagarond with his people, and they set up like their own places there to live. If I remember correctly, like, it's not well talked about how he ends up surviving in Nagarond, but it's supposed that they farm mushrooms underneath the area and have like these massive caverns of mushroom farms, which is how they're able to get around the fact that it's a very infertile place. I'm gonna keep going around until I find some ancient droids to destroy, but I'll keep talking about this. So yeah, they go around, they go to Nagarond, and then they start building up cities there. And this begins the slave empire of the Dark Elves in Nagarond. And will eventually lead to the fall of Nekahara almost directly, which is the Tomb Kings. So we're gonna go away from Nagarond a little bit to talk about that a little of its own. So at this point, Nekahara has had centuries of this mortuary cult, these basically borderline wizards who are basically promised their kings that they would give them an eternal life. They'd find out how to revive their kings and give them an eternal life where they could rule eternally. They had been like mummifying their kings and keeping them like being able to help them live longer than their natural life would normally take, and in return they were given a large amount of power and influence over the kingdoms of Nekahara. This eventually leads to a guy by the name of Nagash, who was either the second or first son. It depends on the lore, because sometimes it's the second son that is put into the mortuary cult. Sometimes it's the first. It depends on whether you're talking about the books or the army book, like the actual books about Nagash or the army books about the Tomb Kings, on what this actually is. But Nagash ends up what was I saying about him? Alright, yeah, he ends up being forced into the mortuary cult. Here the droids were actually supposed to kill him. Let's fight these guys. Okay, he gets forced into the mortuary cult, and what's the... Oh, discharge. I see. Okay. So he gets forced into the mortuary cult. He resents it, though, because his brother is this king. He's venerated. He has all his power, but Nagash, he accepts it for the time being. Let me read out the bonus quest really quick. Nagash Sadao created droid sentries to keep watch over the innermost chambers of his tomb for all eternity. Now they stand between you and your goal, the Tashad. Gather your anger and destroy the ancient droids inside the Tashad chamber and the tomb of Nagash Sadao. Anyway. So yeah, he basically bides his time and starts to learn all of the magics of the mortuary cult in order to try and use them in order to gain power for himself. While he's learning all these magics and stuff, a group of Dark Elf raiders and slavers lands on, or gets shipwrecked in the land of Nagarond. He ends up gaining possession of these Dark Elves and basically torturing them into telling him a lot of the dark magics that their people know, which he uses to become the first necromancer, and start to raise armies of the dead, which are pretty abhorrent to the people of Nekahara, who basically venerate the death as this kind of holy and sacred thing, and see the undeath that Nagash brings as this abhorrent and just this greatly unholy thing that he's done. And he uses this in order to kill his brother and become the king of Kimri, the big lead state in Nekahara. And well, he does this, and then he leads this very terrible and long reign where he builds a black pyramid to basically kind of where all the dark magics are brought into one place. I completely forgot about the breaking of the vortex. So, what I forgot to mention was Nagash, before he leaves and takes his black arcs with him, he goes to the vortex, the one that's bringing in all of the magic, and he destabilizes it. He makes it so that it's not nearly as efficient as it once was in breaking the chaos powers and all the dark magics. This makes it so that the chaos is able to regain power in the world again, where before they were only really able to kind of have some influence through the beastmen that they had before, and maybe the Skaven if they existed, though the Skaven have their own god who makes them very different from chaos, so they do get some power from them. And probably some worshippers of chaos that already existed at the time, though not many. But the destabilizing of the vortex allowed demons to start coming back into the Warhammer world, and specifically to stay in power in the two warp gates, which at this point are no longer vortex gates, but warp gates at the north and south poles of the world. So this destabilization causes problems with the entire world, and allows Nagash to have his great pyramid start to gather up the dark energies that aren't consumed by the vortex into one place so that he can use them for his, well, not all of them, but gather up a lot of those dark energies to use for his own necromancy. And he uses this, or tried to use it in order to create an army that could allow him to completely dominate Nekahara, because at that point he was still dealing with some other kings that were bending to his rule, which upsetted him greatly. He uses this power, or he almost used this power in order to do this, but fails since he is defeated before he's able to use it, and driven from the land of Nekahara up to, I believe, some northern land, where he discovers a cave filled of warpstone, which I talked about earlier, which he is basically just dark magic condensed. It's the stuff of chaos, but he learned how to use it for his dark powers. So yeah, I think that's where I'll stop with Nagash really quick, but I'll go into the dwarves at the same time. So at the same time that's happening there, the dwarves are also doing their own thing in the World's Edge Mountains. They are pretty much the rulers of the old world at this point, having kind of, how should I say, well, pretty much they have all the mountains under their control. They have this vast empire. They've been driving the orcs from their lands for centuries at this point, to the point where the greenskins, well, orcs and goblins, so the greenskins as a whole, are very weakened. This is then kind of subverted, because they were also trading with the elves at this point and had this good relationship with them, but because the elves have now gotten into their civil war with the dark elves, the dark elves wanted to break this alliance that the two races had held for so many centuries, by going about and basically attacking these dwarven trade routes that they had. And the dwarves, being as vindictive and vengeful as they were, demanded justice almost immediately, and went about sending their emissaries to the Elven King at the time. The Elven King, however, as the elves are to do, was arrogant and didn't want to admit that his people were divided between the Dark Elves and the High Elves. He refused the dwarven emissaries and in fact shaved them of their beards. This is a massive disgrace for the elves, or not the elves, the dwarves, who, once they returned with their shaven beards, swore themselves to die an honorable death in return for this loss of honor at having their beard shaved from them by an elf, and started what was later known as the War of the Beard, or the War of Grudges. It depends. Which was a war between the elves and the dwarves. This war would eventually lead to the elves being driven from the old world, with the exception of a small contingent that fled into the forest of Athaloran and would become the Wood Elves. Will do this quest really quick.
Takida melaswe sama word sign in meremnai saigat rawa digdal. Tagasar chais in barks prize war tairen swase ikbus karadida.
These were the instructions Zash gave me. I am to free you, and you will take me to the map in the final chamber of the tomb.
Ababarna habens, glaubena, ni in usakwai, usiterens apipao. Was Jabe wise Jabe, prophetis, we sons Jagara Haitain.
Give me 1 second while I check his conversation options. Let's see here. Nothing. Alright.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Tagasar chais in barks prize war tairen swase ikbus karadida. Paprogatua ina in lausolam jagasatida tu ima.
Feels like I'm about to hear Oblivion or Skyrim fight music. Should not have come here. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Anyway. So yeah, now we have to fight the Dashad, the thing that exists to eat Force users. So let's do that. Ah, yes. This fight. Let me just electrocute you. Alright, this shouldn't be too hard. And just like that, I'm done. So yeah, not too bad of a fight. Let me heal up really quick. I'm calling back.
Name in Maidens. Ipsik by Kudana, Jaus by Rojandan, in Bise Wistai. In Bizoze Waitai Spila Press in Kretai. In Bise Ewanata, Atragata Injais.
Fine, then let's go.
Sisunja, Dargi Skolan.
Yeah, but will it be faster than I become powerful? No. I wanted to do that, not start the seething. Alright, so where was I? Alright, right. So the War of the Beard happens. The dwarves end up driving the elves from their lands, with the exception of the wood elves, which are able to go to Athaloran and hide in order to survive. Give me 1 second while I check. Oh. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, they go to the where they basically hide and eventually become the wood elves. Aside from them, though, all the other elves are driven away from the old world, and the dwarves actually go to Ulthuan, and eventually the Dwarven King and the wood elf and the High Elf King fight, and the High Elf King is defeated. I believe he actually has his head crushed by the hammer of the Dwarven King, and has his crown stolen and brought to the what's it called? The treasury of the dwarves, where the Phoenix, the crown of the Phoenix King has stayed since. Which, yeah. And at that point, the dwarves consider like their grudges to have been avenged. At least the grudges that started the war and end the war there, with the fact that they took back the crown. What else happens? I'm trying to remember here. It's been a little bit. I think that. Oh yeah. So the dwarves return, and at this point, we'll go back to Nagash and his whole thing that's going on with him. So at this point, Nagash has been basically living in... Oh, I forgot to mention, he poisoned Kimri at this point, or like the land of Nekahara. He poisoned their river, their version of the Nile, which basically killed off all the people in that land. Or no, that didn't happen yet. That would happen a little bit later, but basically he's got his land that he owns. I just realized how I'm getting healed by this guy. I kind of forgot that was the thing. Yeah, so he basically starts building up this territory to the north of where he used to live, in this mountain with all this warpstone. However, at this point, the Skaven have already come to exist. And the Skaven are these, as I mentioned before, are these ratmen who, they covet warpstone. They use it for their technology and for magic and for as a currency. It's just very valuable to them. And they start a war with Nagash over this very valuable resource to them. They then, this war lasts for a long time, and neither are able to actually beat each other because the Skaven breed very quickly, but for every fallen Skaven, another undead is brought into Nagash's army. So eventually, both sides declare a truce, because they realize they're going to get nowhere if they keep fighting each other. So they declare a truce and start working together. Eventually, Nagash is discovered because he developed an elixir of eternal life. But eventually, the formula to create this elixir is discovered by a queen of a different land, Queen Neferata of Lahemia. This queen, give me a second. I just wanted to drink some water there. This queen discovers this elixir and becomes the first vampire when she drinks it, because she drinks it, an impure version of it. And then has to drink blood in order to sustain her new unlife. Eventually, the rest of the Nekaharans figure out that her and her court, who have also drank this elixir because she gives it to them for being loyal to her, have become these twisted vampires and go to try and drive her from their land. This, however, failed. Let me read this really quick. After all you've been through, the end is finally in sight. However, Naga Sadao has left one final obstacle between you and his map, an ancient Terentaka. Slay this beast, prove your worth, and claim what is rightfully yours. So yeah, the Nekharans drive her from their land, and she ends up going to where Nagash is to try and gain like some kind of help from him, because at least in their eyes he is kind of like they're kind of the inheritors of him and his magic, and he allows them to stay there and serve under him. But this allows the Nekharans to find where Nagash is and to attack him, especially since at this point he's also like bringing back the dead from Nakahara and attacking it once again. But he is betrayed by these vampires, who actually leave him to fight the Nekaharans on his own. He's actually able to defeat them, however. But after his defeat, he captures the leader of the Nekaharans in order to basically allow him to watch the death of his land and people, because Nagash poisons the river of Nekahara with warpstone, causing it to become completely basically polluted and not fit for human life and consumption. Well, because yeah, it's poisoned. You can't survive from drinking it. And it's like the one oasis in the desert of Nekahara, because it's basically Egypt. So what ends up happening is, sorry, I'm trying to focus on this battle while also explaining the lore. I think we should be good now. Yeah, so basically what ends up happening is Nagash does this, and then he starts creating this spell that is basically to end the world. Well, or more or less to end the world. Because what it's going to do is cause, oh fuck, what is it? Let me think. What does it do again? Oh, right. It was going to kill and then simultaneously bring back everything in the world as a undead. Which, yeah, not a good thing. The Skaven that had at this point had a truce with him end up freeing the leader of these Nekaharans and gifting him with a blade made out of pure warpstone to kill Nagash with. This king goes to Nagash while he's doing this this ritual, ends up, I believe, cutting off his hand and then his head, killing Nagash, but in himself also dying because the warpstone blade, being basically fantasy uranium, kills him. And it ends up also raising all of the people, all the dead of Nekahara, all these old kings, and all of them back from the dead, and basically starting this war between them. Which is eventually ended when one of their greatest kings, whose Setra, is brought back and basically crushes them all under his heel and begins to lead them, ordering most of them to go to sleep, but for some of them to defend their land. So yeah, that was a big part of the Warhammer world, and that's like a lot of the very ancient stuff of it. From there, it then goes on to the time of Sigmar, who is the leader of the Empire of Man. So yeah, that was a lot of lore to go through there. And I'm just going to instantly teleport here. We'll just do this. And And I'll talk about Sigmar and like that point and on next time, but we're gonna actually just go talk to Harkin here and finish this last quest and then be done for today, I think. But yeah, it was actually really nice to talk about that much of Warhammer. I did not expect to get through as much as I did, but it was definitely nice. I will say one thing: if you're here for Star Wars and not Warhammer, or if you also like Star Wars, and if you've watched the Clone Wars series, I was recently watching this breakdown of the Clone Wars series. I believe it's called The Legend of the Clone Wars, which is it's a great like analysis of the Clone Wars animated series. I very much recommend it to anyone who ends up watching this VOD. It's good. I recommend it. Anyway, let's finish up this last quest and
I'm telling you, Overseer, it cannot be done.
get on.
I went into the tomb, I saw the Dashard across the chasm, but I could not get to it.
But the map! Lord Zash is adamant she will not take an apprentice without the map!
I'm telling you, Lord Zash wants the impossible. No one is ever going to get that map.
Let me see if there's any last stuff for this. Because I feel like... here. Because I could have sworn that there is...
You don't mean this map.
That there's... Is there no conversation options that...
Sorry, I'm late.
I'm telling you,
Val actually likes?
No one except me.
I'm telling you, Overseer, it cannot be done. I went in...
Here we go.
Sorry I'm late, but I have the map.
The map? And... the Dashard? Get that monster out of here this instant, and give me the map!
No, it's not possible. You wretch, you filth, you must have cheated somehow. How did you do it? How did you release the monster?
Sai galut saira, iswis us uf bendan, ja atnam, in puidangarja.
Right. You must have cheated. You must have. You'll pay for this!
Fawn, patience. You will have your chance at this whelp, after you personally deliver this map to Lord Zash.
Let's see. Yeah.
Eat them both, Kem.
Dobila wesun.
Keep your pet at bay for just a moment, Acolyte. I would have a word with Fawn.
Lord Zash.
Yes, Fawn. Now, where's my map?
Here, Lord Zash.
Right here.
You found it for me, Fawn? How wonderful.
You are one dead man.
Silence! Fawn will tell me what happened, won't you, Fawn? You wouldn't dare lie to me, would you? Because it would be a shame for me to discover that you lied to me. Now, one more time. Did you bring this map back from Naga Sadow's tomb?
No. No, I didn't. I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hearken, you fool. In any other group for any other lord, this young man would have torn the other acolytes to shreds. What were you trying to prove? That you could outsmart me? That you knew better than me what kind of person I wanted for an apprentice? You fool! There's your pet, Harkin. Clean this mess up. Apprentice, meet me in my chambers upstairs.
As you say.
Alright.
This is not the end. Without Lord Zash to save you, you're nothing. I have connections that will hunt you wherever you go.
I'm sorry it turned out this way, Harkin. I know you never liked me much, but I learned a lot from you.
What? Well, I guess it is an overseer's job to inspire his charges. Now get going, slave. I mean, apprentice.
Hey, we got some respect out of him. Look at that. Yeah, so for some reason, you can get him to respect you if you do the light side options. Anyway, let's finish up this last light side option and then be done. Oh fuck, I had those heroic... I'll do the heroic missions later. Fuck it. I don't want to do them today. We can do them tomorrow, and then, because tomorrow is basically just going to be me doing the heroic missions for this, and then the flashpoints, which are basically these dungeons that exist in the game. So I might as well just do those together. And because, yeah, they're all like these very difficult stuff that I just don't want to do today, just because I kind of want to get through the story of this. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Alright, so let's talk to Lord Zash here.
Ah, my magnificent new apprentice. Congratulations are in order, I believe.
Give me a second while I talk to you. Let's see here. Right. Let me see. Okay, so not this one. I think... Yeah, so here.
Thank you for giving me this.
Let me just check that there's no...
You know, I could have taken
no other
Fawn.
stuff that I have for this.
Was killing Fawn really...
Alright.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
You've earned it, my apprentice. Now, I was just looking over this astonishing map you brought back, and I can tell we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Murder and mayhem await.
Patience, my apprentice. We must go about this with tact, all in good time. You must meet me on Drummond Cars. There we can talk more.
Why must we go there?
That is where the map leads, though I likely would have taken you there anyway. The capital of the Sith Empire is a good place for an apprentice to start. I will meet you in my chambers in the Citadel in Kars City. There we can speak more freely of the work ahead, without the fear of unfriendly ears. This is the lightsaber I had as an apprentice. I want you to have it.
Nice.
I am honored.
Excellent. I'm glad you like it. It served me well. Now remember, my chambers, the Citadel, Drummond Cars. It's imperative that we get to work on this as soon as possible.
Stop right there, slave. Darth Scotia has a message for you.
Give me a second. What's this guy's name? Apprentice something or another. I have a feeling that that's part of the Go to Drummond Cars mission. Let's find out. Let's see. Because I feel like I should actually already be earning points for the Chad, his like opinion stuff. But there's none so far, and it bothers me because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. This guy. Here we go. Oh, again, there's nothing. Okay, Darth Scotia.
Who is this Darth Scotia?
Darth Scotia is Lord Zash's superior, and your worst nightmare. The message is this: you will not go to Drummond Cars. Everything you've done here, everyone you dealt with, Lord Zash included, is insignificant. Darth Scotia has eyes and ears on Koraban. He knows what your master is up to, and he is displeased, to say the least. On Koraban,
I don't know
Lord
what she's up
Slash
to.
may have her way, but on Drummond Cast it's a different story. So you see, you have to die.
Kem, what is it you do to Force users again?
Gibay iswis aman hangujins.
Or Tosin, is that a Deshard? Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Coward! Fight, you fool!
Alright, let's kill them all. Let me just, do that. Oh, I don't have my lightsaber. I like that one best. Okay. Come on. There we go. Alright, now let's try out my lightsaber. Ah, that's good. Alright. Why is... was less... It doesn't have power or critical rating, but I get more force power and mastery with it, and more damage overall. I'm gonna use it still. Yeah, anyway. Other than that... Oh yeah, also the new focus. So yeah, let me... Yeah, alright, I'm gonna be done for today. All I'm gonna do in the meantime is go to item modification, do that, sell my shit. Basically, just some minor stuff on the side. So, that's it for today. I stream at 9, again, as I always say, I stream at 9 at Central Standard Time. So, yeah, just show up on my channel at any time at Central Standard at 9. It should be fine. And, yeah, all my streams go to VOD, so you can watch them after the fact. That's all.